A thick, muscular, defined neck is arguably one of the most attractive things you can have as a guy. I know this firsthand because I had the skinniest of neck. I had a neck where it's like a lollipop, right? So it's like a lollipop stick and then it's just holding up the lollipop like my big head, right? So that's that's what I had. And I trained my neck for 8 months and now it's like thick, developed, muscular, so you can see that. Right? After only training it for 8 months, right? So this is like I was thinking about putting this in like a paid program, right? That's just a separate point, right? But having a thick muscular neck is going to make all the difference for your physique. It's really going to make all the difference, right? You've been training like the aesthetic muscles, the 7 aesthetic muscles. So you've been training like, let's say you've been training traps, upper chest, lateral delts, abs, obliques, biceps, like me, everything, right? But like it seems like every 2-3 months your physique just has a slight change. That's what it felt like for me. I trained the 7 aesthetic muscles for 7 months straight, right? I trained them for 7 months straight, but as soon as I started training neck, it made all the difference in the world, right? It amplified my physique, added like 2-3 points to my physique, right? And again, it makes sense, right? Because if you think about it, your neck is always visible in every single thing that you wear. Your neck is always going to be visible, right? So it's like when you have a thick muscular neck, think about it this way, right? Let's give a very practical real life example. Let's say you go to the club. You go to the club in like a sweater or like a jumper, right? Girls can't see your physique, right? They can't see your physique because you're wearing like a sweater or like a jumper or whatever, right? But when you have a thick muscular neck, it just subconsciously tells them that you have a good physique, right? Because like if you have a thick muscular neck, like a trained neck, obviously like your entire physique is trained, right? And it's just so attractive, right? And think about like the opposite. When you have a skinny neck, right? Like let's say like me, I'll put up a picture somewhere in the video. When I had a skinny neck, you couldn't see my physique because like in that same picture I'm wearing like a jumper, right? You can't see my physique, but you can tell that I've never worked out. You can tell that I don't work out, that I'm skinny as fuck, simply by looking at the size of my neck, right? It's just like neck. It's more of like a subconscious thing. Of course, it's part of the 7 aesthetic muscles that I mentioned before, like the neck, traps, lateral delts, upper chest, abs, obliques, and biceps and lats, right? It's part of the 7 aesthetic muscles, which means that, of course, it's like a priority in terms of training, right? But if you ask anyone that you know, you ask any person, you ask them, what do you think are the aesthetic muscles, right? People will mention the ones that we already know. People will mention abs. People will mention, a few people who are actually into gym culture will mention lats, because lats are one of the most important ones, because they give you the width which you need to build the V taper, which will in turn give you like the wide far apart shoulders, which will make your waist look smaller, and then you have like the V taper, which is fucking nice, which is like sexy to girls, whatever the fuck, right? People who are into gym culture know that, but people who don't even go to the gym don't even know what a V taper is. So if you ask them what are the aesthetic muscles, what they'll tell you is, biceps maybe, chest maybe, and like, I don't know, abs or something. But even girls, if you ask them this same question, they'll probably just say some shit like abs and biceps, which is like a valid, good answer because it's part of the 7 aesthetic muscles, right? But I guarantee you no one mentions neck, right? No one mentions neck, yet alone no one trains neck. On the internet, no one talks about training neck at all. Like, neck is not even a thing that people talk about training. You watch all these videos, you watch all these fitness influencers, they don't talk about training neck. They don't even train neck themselves, right? And like, this might have just gone over your head, but I think you need to just really take this advice, right? You need to really take this advice and really listen to this advice, because I'm telling you for firsthand, this has made the biggest difference in my life, right? I'm pretty sure you're going to see it from like the thumbnail or like the pictures that I'm going to put up in this video and I edit it. This has made like the biggest difference, right? Neck is one of those things where like it's going to really amplify your physique, right? You train neck alongside with your traps, right? So traps are like these ones right here. this part right here, you train this muscle and you train neck, right? It's really going to make like such a massive difference in your physique, especially the people who are going to notice this the most are people who've been training beforehand, right? So you've been training, and like let's say you've trained for a year, you've trained for like half a year, right? You start to see that having a slightly bigger chest after 3 months, it's not going to really make a difference in your physique. You're going to still have like, yes, you're going to go up in attractiveness, yes, but it's going to be marginal. It's not going to be like very significant. But when you train neck, right, if your neck hasn't been trained, of course, when you train neck, it's going to really put your physiques, it's going to set it apart, right? And I'm telling you this firsthand, right? Because in my gym, let me tell you this, I go to the gym every single day. I go to the gym like 6 times a week, right? Whatever. I go there and I've been going there for like 15 months now, about a year and a half. I'm yet to see a person train neck. I'm yet to see a single person in my gym train neck, right? People will see me training neck, right? And it's always the craziest thing, because it's like they look at me like I've just discovered fire. They'll look and then they'll pass by, like let's say I'm doing my sharks on the Smith or whatever. They'll look, they pass by, especially if it's someone I know. They'll take another lap, they'll come back. They're like, what is this training for, right? And then I have to do the whole thing, explain them, oh, you know, like your neck, you see these muscles right here, the ones on the side here, you can actually train those, develop those, and they can actually like reach hypertrophy and grow whatever the fuck. And then like your traps also, they can grow. So like if you do this, what I'm doing on a narrow grip, wide grip, whatever the variants, you can actually train your traps, you can actually train your neck. And they're like, whoa. So like, why do you need to train neck? Because like neck, in their mind, it's like, the function of neck is just this. This is like the whole function of neck, right? So like you don't, in their mind, it's like you don't need to train neck specifically for anything. But like it's like we're not training for fucking functionality here. We're not training to be fucking functional human beings or whatever the fuck. Because if we're training to be fucking functional, right, we'd need to train neck, obviously, right? Because our neck is already functional enough. It's not like you're going to need to have a thick neck to carry weight around your neck. We're not fucking boxers, right? But like we're training to be sexy and aesthetic, right? That's why you need to train the fucking neck, right? Of course, I'm not going to be so aggressive in telling them this. I'm just telling them, oh, you know, like it increases your attractiveness, aesthetics, whatever. And like as a whole side point, most people in the gym, not most people in the gym, like most people who are like into powerlifting or strength training, whenever you explain to them training for aesthetics, like they just really don't get it, right? So you know, people who do like bench press, deadlifts and fucking what is that one? Bench press, deadlifts and squats, right? Those fucking people who do deadlifts, bench press and squats, they just oppose it, like every single thing that I'm talking about now. Like they just oppose that. They oppose everything about aesthetic training. You try to explain to them this is what. They're like, no. You don't need to train up to 12 reps. Just train up to like low volume 4 reps, whatever the fuck. And now they just have like a weird physique where it's like they just have like a huge abdomen and they've got like skinny arms, and it's like, I wouldn't want that physique, right? And like I know I'm off tracking a bit, but like it's all just to really emphasize like the point that neck is really just like so important in terms of your entire physique, right? Because this is again the only muscle that's going to be out there 24/7. You develop this muscle. I've trained my neck for 8 months and it's already like it already looks trained and developed, right? And the general consensus online is your neck should be like, you see like where my jawline ends right here, it should just be like straight down. So your neck should be thick enough that if your jawline ends right here, it should just be straight down, right? But I don't even think that's enough. I don't even think that it's enough to just have it like aligned. I think like your neck should be thick and muscular. I'm talking about like Mike Tyson. If you know like Mike Tyson in his prime, how thick his neck was, right? I think that's like how it really should be, right? So I've only trained my neck for 8 months. I've already shown you the progress, but I'm still going to continue to train it, and I'm still going to like, and I think this is going to be the one muscle that's really going to continue to make me to give me the most amount of results. right? It's really going to be the muscle to give me the most amount of results. So I just made this video to really just emphasize the importance of training neck. I hope you guys like really enjoyed this video and you learned from the video. Of course, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel.